Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 101 of the Dear Herbalist podcast titled Medical Doctors Are Quitting, Implications in Healthcare and How This Impacts Us as Herbalists. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope you guys are doing well out there, enjoying spending time with your family, enjoying this beautiful snow and everything that winter has to offer. Winter is a time where everyone just kind of settles down, gets some perspective, do some groundwork and things like that. Lay the foundation for other things that you plan to do and spring forth with in the spring. Hopefully everyone is working on those projects and being productive. I always encourage that. I myself have been very super busy with my main website, which is coming out soon. So please stay tuned for that. It is an information website packed full of information for you, beginning herbalists, continuing herbalists, seasoned herbalists. It's all for you, a lot of information. So stay tuned for that when that launches. I will definitely let you know. But I've been busy as well, taking time to create products, write books, all of these things, all to help herbalists of all kinds, even those that may not call themselves herbalists, but they're plant enthusiasts and they're interested in how to use plants to better their life. So let's get into today's topic. Now, in this episode, we're going to dive into the growing crisis of physician burnout, as well as the rising number of doctors that are quitting the profession. They're saying that it's over 1/3 physicians that have been considering leaving within the next few years. And we have to think about, what does this mean for healthcare access for our clients and for our communities? And how does this impact us as herbalists? We are going to talk about that because as medical care becomes harder and harder to access, people are going to be looking for solutions. It's going to be those people that were so anti-herbalist. Now they're going to be jumping out the woodworks like, hey, what did you say I could do for this? And what did you say this herb was good for? Why? Because they don't have the medical community to lean on. So it's going to be time for us, as it always is, and a lot of us herbalists are busy anyway, to stand up and to rise up and to show people, listen, herbal medicine is not the alternative. It's been here since the beginning of time. It has always helped people. It would always continue to help people. According to the World Health Organization, well over 80% of the people are using plant medicines to help address their issues. So that is a huge number in the world. What does that say? That says people rely on plant medicine more than they do their doctor. That means if they have to go to the doctor for anything, it's an emergency situation. Other than that, other things they try to manage, or they use herbs as preventative measures so that they don't get illnesses, sicknesses, and imbalances in the body. Why did I choose this topic? I actually was doing a lot of research and I came across this video on YouTube. And it was talking about how doctors it's not just burnout, the reason why doctors are leaving the profession. It's a myriad of different things. So I'm going to play this clip really quickly. It's probably about maybe 10, 15 seconds because I'm not trying to get stricken by anything. But I wanted to just kind of let you hear a little bit about what is actually taking place. And then we'll talk more about that when I come back.
Now turning to a crisis plaguing healthcare here in the United States, where the number of physicians is dwindling drastically. In 2021 alone, around 117,000 left the workforce, and 1 in 5 doctors say that they plan to leave in the coming years.
So when I was watching this video, and I actually, like I said, I will link it in the bottom if you guys want to actually go watch the full YouTube video. But as I was watching this and I was listening to the physician that they had on there, I really started to think like, man, this isn't just, herbalists going through it in terms of being oppressed in the sense that, you guys can only do this and you can only do that. And you better not step out of this scope. And, you got to prove yourself. You got to validate yourself. You got to, it's not only us feeling the heat, right? But it's also the medical community as a whole. Now, this podcast isn't designed to be a nanny for doctors. It really is not. but it's designed to shine a light on the issue that because these things are happening, people are suffering. And it's unfortunate that the suffering is actually happening on both sides. Doctors don't get a pass, either. Just as once before, herbalists always had light shining on us, what we're doing, trying to insult our intelligence, trying to handcuff us and say we can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. Well, the doctors are experiencing that now and have been. No, you cannot go outside of the box of what we said you can do. No, you cannot prescribe this medicine. You have to prescribe this one. Not because it'll be any better or any worse, but because this particular pharmaceutical company is giving us billions of dollars. So our hospital has to make sure that we prescribe this. Oh, you're trying to diagnose somebody with something? Okay, they're teetering the line of this. We're low in these diagnoses. So you're going to diagnose them with this. No, it doesn't 100% fit the model for that diagnosis. But because we have people that are funding us and we need more of this particular type of diagnosis, I need you to diagnose them with that. And it's unfair. And there are, I believe, some really good-hearted doctors that really got into the medical community because they believed, I really want to help people and I think this is a way I can do it. I'm not talking about the people that got in it for money. I'm not talking about the people that got into it for status. I'm not talking about the people that got into it because they thought it would make them somebody. I'm talking about the pure-hearted people that got in there and thought, you know what? I really want to make a difference. But soon as they got that white coat and they crossed that threshold, the handcuffs came on. Don't try to think outside of the box. Don't try to, make a recommendation different than what we said. I know this is what you said, but I know more than you. I'm more intelligent than you. And I'm telling you, even though I've never been a doctor, licensed or any of that, I'm going to tell you this is how you're going to do this. And so they're fed up. They're completely fed up. I read a few of the comments and I'm going to read them here, especially since I couldn't play the video so long. But this particular doctor, she said, I'm a primary care physician. It's just horrible practicing traditional primary care. The horrific destruction I see every day in our healthcare by these greedy systems are mind-blowing. You cannot prescribe even a generic medication for your patient without prior authorization. You can't order a test without a prior authorization. Coupled with patients who go to the ER only to be sent home with follow up with your primary care. You are so emotionally drained because of the regulatory demands and also always have a fear of being sued. Frivolous lawsuits driven by lawyers. You're almost forced to into employment because you can't pay the bills of the clinic. EMRs that were supposed to help us send us into countless hours of way beyond what your regular office hours are. And a lot of your office hours are spent completing charts. The medical record is now weaponized by everyone. Family relationships are affected because you are so drained. And through it all, I still wake up and return because I love what I went into medicine to do. And that is to take care of patients. Something has to change and change fast. Another doctor said, I left mainstream medicine after 30 years of practice. A major hospital system bought our breast cancer clinic. I voted against the sale, but 8 of my partners voted to sell it. Overnight, it became a corporate practice with an emphasis on money. My nurse of over 10 years was forced out because she was at the high end of the pay scale and had to be replaced by 2 nurses. She was that talented. I was treated horribly even though I was a founding member of the practice and knew what to do to deliver stellar care. I left after 2 years and reinvented myself as a health coach. I now help people achieve a healthy weight, eliminate medications, and reverse diseases such as diabetes and hypertension with proper diet and lifestyle. I am making a huge impact without an expensive prescription drugs or crazy recommendations such as bariatric surgery. I am saving lives and reducing people's health care costs. Isn't that something? Now, the crazy thing in that is one of the downfalls is the healthcare costs. The rising healthcare costs. And right now, because the economy, I don't know how it is anywhere else, but I know in the United States, it's crazy. Everything has gone up. And so now people have to determine whether or not they get their prescription drugs, or if they can afford to get something to eat. Do they pay this bill, or do they have this, surgery? Do they do this? Okay, if I go get this surgery that you're recommending and I have kids and I got to have somebody to watch the kids, who's going to, it's people are having to make all kind of crazy decisions regarding their health care. At some point, it's going to implode. That's my thing. At some point, yes, there are going to be those doctors that are going to be like, you know what? I didn't get into this for that. I didn't get in it for money. I didn't get into it because I wanted to go on these fancy trips sponsored by the pharmaceutical companies. I didn't get into it for that. I got into it because I wanted to relieve the suffering of man. Sound familiar? So, with doctors being burned out, frustrated, angry, they have huge administrative burdens, their work-life balance is gone because there is a shortage of healthcare providers. And it's not just the doctors. While I was doing my research, I noticed there's a lot of nurses that are leaving too, right? So with all of this happening, the cascading effect is going to be huge on all different types of people, especially in the underserved and rural areas where healthcare and access to it is already limited. So if you are an herbalist and you are in an underserved area or you are in a rural area, it's time to strap up, gear up, because that community as well is going to need your help. They're going to need your knowledge. And a lot of these diseases and disorders, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I don't care. I'm just going to talk because it's coming to me. A lot of the diseases and a lot of the disorders out there are lifestyle, diseases of lifestyle, right? So if you change your lifestyle, or if you show people how to change their lifestyle and get into a better way of living, then the dis-ease or the imbalance, as we call it, goes away. So there's a lot of preventative work that needs to happen. And then, of course, if you have clients that come to you and they already have a pre-existing condition or something going on, right? Then there's a balancing and a toning and a revitalizing and all these other things, a clearing, depending on what's going on, that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, they are going to need help. And unfortunately, they are going to be looking to the people that they originally criticized. And I know, try really hard. Please try really hard not to be petty. Please try not to be petty with that uncle who dang near cursed you out for trying to give him a remedy for his gout or whatever else he was dealing with. But now all of a sudden his doctor quit on him, and here he come limping that large foot over to you, trying to throw it up on your counter to see what you can do for it, what herbs you got in your cabinet. Please try not to be petty. I know the little demon that sits on the left side is going to be like, man, tell him off and get your foot off my counter, get up out my house. Try not to do that. Sometimes people just don't know. It don't excuse bad behavior, but sometimes people just don't know. So be prepared for a wave of people that have once dismissed you as an herbalist to now come running back to you or running towards you, new people. Because as access to doctors begins to shrink, herbal medicine is going to see an increase in demand. People are going to seek you out for wellness support, preventative care, and even for certain protocols for certain conditions. And because we offer a holistic approach and a more natural, as they like to say, alternative, which I don't like that word, but because we do offer that, people are going to turn to us out of necessity rather than, I might go see y'all. I might pay your fee. I might go get a consultation. I don't know. Now they're going to be probably running and trying to bang your door down. So, herbalists, how do we fill in the gap? Right? At the end of the day, because I was thinking about that, do we fill in the gap? I don't think we do. I think we just continue on. But for those that have been discouraged, those that have you know what, maybe this isn't for me. Nobody's listening to what I have to say. I try to reach out to my family. I try to reach out to my friends. I try to reach out to the community. And sometimes, getting so much rejection, it could be disheartening. So I'm calling back even those herbalists that are either on the fence trying to jump over and say, bump all this, I don't want to do it anymore. The herbalists that have completely walked away and said, forget about this. I'm calling all y'all to come back because we are going to have some serious work to do. I know for myself as an herbalist educator, I know that at first my website was going to be something to just kind of give some general information. But once I started digging in and diving in and doing more research and paying attention to what's going on in our world today, I'm like, nah, I got to add more information in here because there will be people that will have questions and they need immediate answers. They need to know exactly what I can do for this. How do I formulate that? Where can I go to get this information? I need it now. I don't need to, okay, in a couple years, then you'll be able to have enough knowledge to make a difference. No, I need to be able to have that information now because the times call for that right now. So I had to completely switch my mindset and completely redo what I thought my website was going to originally be. And so as herbalists, a lot of you, maybe you started the course going one way, but now you're like, I need to shift gears. I was just an herbalist to write blogs and that kind of stuff. But I think I need to move over into a product making herbalist because I see in my community there's needs here. Or let's say I'm a product making herbalist. I've made products for years and I know what people need and what they typically use. Now I probably need to shift over into the clinical space, get my own business going and become a coach of my own so that I can help people one-on-one based on what I know and what I see. You may have to do some shifting and adjusting, but if you're an herbalist, you know, in today's society, I'm sure you already know that, right? So, but no matter what you do, always make sure that you operate within your scope of practice. Always make sure that you operate within your scope of knowledge because you don't want to be that same person trying to help someone. And along the way, you end up harming them. So make sure that you only help people with what you absolutely know. And if you don't know, then don't do it. Otherwise, go study it and learn it and know it and then turn around and go help somebody. But always never operate outside of your scope of practice. Let's talk about some of the challenges and the opportunity. I would say or maybe one of the challenges I would say is being recognized as a viable healthcare option by the general public, right? Another one could be navigating legal and ethical concerns. And then the other challenge, as well as opportunity, I would say, is making sure that your clients are using the herbs safely. Now, with any challenge, it really depends on how you look at it to determine whether or not it really is a challenge or is it an opportunity? Because being recognized in the community as a healthcare option by the general public could be an opportunity. And how you're able to be recognized is that you're actually in your community. People see your work. They see what you do. They hear what you're talking about. They see how you've helped other people. That's where it becomes from a challenge to an opportunity. Now, when it comes to navigating legal or any type of ethical concerns, that comes into play when you are doing something either outside of the scope of what you're supposed to be doing. You are using those red zone words we talked about in the other podcast. You are trying to become a doctor. You got Dr. So-and-so in front of your name, doing stuff to make yourself look like other than an herbalist. Or you look just like a doctor and people think you are until they know you're not. And then now you're getting sued. So probably should stay away from that. There's really no other way to say it than that. That way you don't have to worry about navigating any legal concerns because you're only operating in the space in which you're allowed to. And one thing I wanted to make sure and to make clear from this podcast is please do not think that the herbal medicine space is oversaturated. Please. There is a real need for what you have to offer. This place is not oversaturated. The field of herbal medicine is not oversaturated. There are billions of people all around the world. And with the internet, it has allowed us access to be able to reach those people all around the world. So if you are in some small town somewhere and nobody wants to hear what you got to say, and they're trying to be like, whatever, get on the internet. Start talking to people on the internet. Start coaching people on the internet. You might have somebody over in India somewhere, Saudi Arabia or Africa or Europe. You just never know. So do not get discouraged. There is always a demand for information. There's always a demand for the herbs. There's always a demand for everything that you're providing as an herbalist. But the key is to find spaces where your skills are needed. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you turn on the TV, you will see that there's a huge need for us. Though we don't always get credit, but there is a huge need for us. Now, in this climate, with what's going on with these doctors and all this other kind of stuff, what can we do? Number one, education and advocacy. It's very important that we spend a lot of time educating the public about the benefits and the safety of herbal medicine. So if you have a business, you definitely want to make sure that you are doing that, educating people about the benefits and the safety of herbal medicine. Because a lot of people, they probably have heard from their doctors how dangerous herbal medicine is and they shouldn't use it. And, that's quack medicine or whatever else they done came up with or they done said, So in their mind, they're scared. I don't really want to try this herb. What if it doesn't work and my leg falls off or my heart stops or my eyes close or, whatever. So education is key. Our voices have to be louder than the negative aspects of, what people are trying to say about us. Okay. Our voices have to be louder, giving the accurate information. And we have to carry ourselves in such a way to where we are knowledgeable. Okay. Not that you know everything, but that you are confident about what you do know. And you are confident in your abilities to help someone. And if you are not, then you have to work at that. Write that on your to-do list for 2025. All right. The other thing is, I feel like, and I don't know, this might be a stretch on the advocacy side, for a lot of clinical herbalists or herbalists that have a coaching business and all that, why can't people, have health insurance cover those things? Why can't that be? Why do they have to only cover what's under the allopathic medicine side? Why can't they, if somebody wants to go to an herbalist, why can't you allow that to be covered under their health insurance since we pay so much for it? So that's an area of advocacy that we have to look at. The other thing is creating relationships with conventional healthcare providers. Now, I know some people are like, what? It's only where it's possible. And if both people are able to respect each other's profession as well as each individual's level of knowledge. Now, I have always said that I believe that we could work together. We could utilize from the medical community side, the doctors, we can use their unique knowledge, right? Because they study in-depthly all aspects of the human body. When they get out of medical school, they may transition into only, the immune system or only endocrinology or whatever. But in their training, they learn all aspects of the human body. So that is what I feel like in herbal medicine, it's not enough of. We talk a lot about herbs and what herbs can do and all of that, but it's not enough about the human body, which is why I'm merging the two. And that's important because the human body is doing the work. The herbs are the support. So where we come in, and that's as far as with the doctors, I think that would be enough. I'm not saying that we have to take on their philosophies because we're not symptoms based. Okay. We don't look at their disease model. We have our own. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the knowledge of the human body. And on our side, we have a unique knowledge about the plants, their phytochemistry, right? Their actions, what they can do, phytopharmacology, all of these things. We have that specific unique knowledge. And if you don't, go ahead and study that. But at the end of the day, on both sides, it's to benefit the client. The other thing is stay informed, stay up to date on both herbal science and what's going on with the healthcare system. That way you can provide the best care as possible. If you know in your community, diabetes is on the rise, start talking about herbal solutions. Start really breaking down what diabetes is, what the body is doing. Educate, educate, educate. The one who hustles the most wins. And if you want to get a certification, if you want to continue your education, do that. I'm all for it. I also am a proponent of self-study as well. But if you want to get certifications, I have them. Okay, do it. Don't feel like you have to have all that, But if you want to, go get it wherever you can expand your knowledge. There's really no reason in this information age, on this YouTube and everywhere else, there's really no reason for people not to know anything. If you wanted to learn how to be a neuroscience in every aspect of the brain, you could go learn that. You can go watch videos. You can go get the textbooks, medical school textbooks. You could really sit down and learn that, right? But I think in our minds, we feel like if there's nobody in front of us teaching us it, or there's nobody to say, yep, whoop, we validate you, go ahead and do what you're supposed to do. We said that you are worthy of being able to talk of this subject. Then it's almost like we don't want to do it. Like, no, I got to wait for some validation first. I got to go to, the top herbal school and sit up under them for 10 years. And no. Okay? No. Get your education, but don't overstress. It can be done. So that's what we can do as herbalists. And the bottom line is, should people have to suffer when herbalists have a solution? Simply, should people have to suffer because they cannot have access to conventional medical care? And what is it that we as herbalists are going to offer? The answer to that question is no, people should not have to suffer. Whether or not you get better or your body balances out and the disease leaves, all of those factors should have nothing to do with how much money you have in your pocket. Nothing. Whether you got 2 cents, 5 cents, $1,000. Money should not drive whether or not you have access to health care. So no, they shouldn't have to suffer. Because herbal medicine is not also, for when things go wrong, but it's also a valuable part of a proactive and preventative system. So also teaching people how to get to a place of health and maintaining it. And we can offer solutions to either prevent or to even, I don't even want to say manage. I'll just say to prevent chronic conditions or stress-related ailments or lifestyle diseases or disorders. So what am I saying? At the end of the day, I'm saying this, okay? I want to encourage you as fellow herbalists. What I'm going to start doing is doing more podcasts like these on current events to get you fired up and empowered to stay active in your community, to be a resource, to remember that the health of the people depends on the collective efforts of many healthcare providers, and that includes us as herbalists. We have a seat at the table. We are the table. Okay? But our confidence and our lack of validation that we're looking for, all of these things, fear, prevent us from being and stepping into that in which we were created to do. And that is to help relieve the suffering of man, to use the knowledge that we have to help people and to let them know you can get beyond this. But if fear and lack of faith are things that we're struggling with, we can't help nobody else. How can you encourage your client to not be fearful, to step out and to believe and all that, and you don't believe? They may not know you don't believe, but you know you don't believe. So I want you to reflect on your role in this shifting healthcare landscape. What part do you want to play? How do you want to be a part of the solution? Connect with other people in the field, share your knowledge, get involved in your local communities to make sure that people actually have access to the care that they need, especially during this time of transition within the healthcare system. So be encouraged, get your marching orders, pull up your boots, tie them up, get your herbalist bag, notes, and everything else, and let's get out there and help the people that need it the most. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. If you are looking for manuals and help learning how to put together a protocol, if you need to learn more about herbal actions, if you need notebooks, all of these type of things, if you are looking for these things to help guide you along in your herbal journey, to help give you that practice, if you want a workbook that has a lot of case studies in it to give you that extra practice that you need, please go over to my store at thedemystifiedherbalist.square.site and check out the literature and everything that I have over there that really will help you on your herbalist journey and get you prepared for what's ahead. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Follow me on all my social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. And until next time, family, I'm out.